We have our foam roller class today. A nice, safe way to get on this, be very careful if you have fragile ribs, is to turn yourself around and use your arms, forearms on the roller is a nice way. Just gently lower yourself down so that you're right on the bra strap line of your back, okay? And then you can gather up your hair if you've got long hair, hold your head in your hands, just kind of lengthen the back of your neck. And then we'll have our feet on the mat like so, lift your hips, and then roll toward the top of your shoulders and then back down towards your bra strap line, okay? And this should feel, you know, like a kind of a massage. There should not be any pain. If there's pain, that's an indicator that it's not a good idea today. So I would cease the exercise and just maybe, you know, stay and open your chest over the roller if that's more comfortable. If this is okay, just keep rolling up and down a few more times. And we don't really want to go past the bra strap line much because we get into false and floating ribs that are not quite as securely anchored in our bodies. It's past where the manubrium is. And so we'll just do a few more rolls. And also just notice that how you're holding your arms. So if you're trying to wing your elbows out really wide, that's going to kind of lock your spine into extension. And so we want to have the elbows more winged in and just really supporting the head. Okay, and that's probably enough of that. And let's go ahead now and just place the roller in a comfortable position. Perhaps you are at the bra strap line again with your hips down, and your feet are down and your knees are bent. And then we'll just open our chest over the roller. So you're kind of going backward a little bit. Be careful that the back of your neck is staying nice and long. And then come back up to just neutral. So we're using the roller as a fulcrum to do some upper body abdominal exercises, right? So upper body lift. And we're just going from extension to neutral. Okay, so this gets a range of motion that's not accessible when we're laying flat on the mat. And it also is safe for, as long as it's comfortable, for someone with bone density loss or disc issues, because we're not going into flexion, we're going into extension. So this is a nice way to work our upper abs. This is a functional range of motion for overhead reaching, getting something down off of a high shelf, for example, catching a ball overhead, anything that you're doing where you're having to reach your arms overhead and stabilize with your torso. So we'll just do a couple more here. And if the exercise feels too easy, you can always roll the roller down, you know, further or closer to your waist. If it's not good, you know, here, you feel like it's too much, closer to the tops of your shoulders will be the answer to that. And then we'll go ahead and finish that up. And then let's just bring one arm down to the mat, keep your head supported, roll to the side, get up, okay? So now let's take this roller and place it on the other end of the mat. And it's going to be still widthwise. And we'll be laying down with the roller underneath our knee space. So the bend of our knees. So I'm just going to kind of go to the side and roll onto my back so that I can still get onto the mat in a way that's safe for all spines. That's our thing, right? Going to be safe for all spines. And then we'll go ahead and just place hands on belly, lift and lower your hips to organize your spine. Take a breath. And as you exhale, just softly pull your belly in and bring one leg and then the other leg up to tabletop. And if you're able to do that and maintain a nice co-contraction around your torso, then we'll just start doing some little toe taps. The floor is not the goal. It's okay to stop before you actually reach the floor if you feel like your pelvis or your back is shifting at all. And just feel with your hands across your belly that you are working your abdominals in a way that's helping to stabilize your whole torso. this feels like too much, you can place your feet on the floor and instead of doing toe taps, do marching. Okay, so 2 alternatives and they're both good, right? If you need more, you can try doing both legs at the same time, and you might find that as your thighs move away from you with the weight of both legs, your range is going to be a little bit less, and then we can try our single leg reaches as well, okay? Which we can then turn into double leg reaches. Okay, so just a few more here. We'll say 2 more of whatever you've chosen for your abdominal warm-up, and then we'll go ahead and let that go. Let's bring our hands down to the mat. The roller's still just sitting there, and we'll lengthen the back of our necks, pull your shoulders down, and then engage your buttocks as you press into your feet to lift up your hips. So if we have bone density loss, osteopenia or porosis, you're just using a bottom lift. If you do not have that going on, you can lift up higher, okay? And we'll come on down. So choosing a height of lift that's appropriate for our spine, we'll keep working our bottom lift or our bridge. Do about 3 more here. So lifting up, everything lifts up as a unit. We can start rolling down. Let's do 2 more. Lift up, find your glute strength, use your abs to stabilize your torso, and then roll down. And 1, and roll down. Well, that was fun. Let's make it even more fun. Let's put the roller underneath your feet now. So first we'll just roll the roller back and forth underneath our feet a couple of times to sort of wake up our bottoms of our feet. And then we'll have the arches on the roller. Now pull into belly, keep your arms down on the mat, and then we'll go ahead and lift up. And again, bone density loss, you just enough to slide your hands underneath you. If that's not your case, you can lift up a little higher and come on down. Notice if the roller is trying to kind of roll away from you while you're doing the lift. And if that's the case, we need to work our hamstrings a little bit to keep the roller in place so that we're working a little bit more. It's going to feel like more hamstring behind the knee joint, actually. These are good muscles to strengthen. Hopefully everybody's able to do this using more glute than hamstring. And we'll do 2 more here. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead, let that go. Let's bring the roller underneath our thighs and stretch your legs out over the roller and just rotate your thighs on top of the roller and give ourselves just a little bit of self-myofascial release on the hamstrings that we were just using before we go in for the next one. Okay, so let's place our feet back on the floor. Roller is underneath to bend up the knee. Shoulders down the back, neck is long. Take a breath and exhale to lift up again to an appropriate height. So now this time, shift your weight side to side. So we're just going to see if we can do this without dipping the hip. Then go ahead and shift your weight to one side, lift the other leg, extend it up toward the ceiling and lower it down until your thighs are parallel and pick up the leg. And 2, and 3, bend your knee, put your foot back down, recommit to the bottom lift or bridge, shift your weight over to the other side, lift up your other leg, straighten your leg up toward the ceiling, lower it down till the thighs are parallel, pick it back up again, and 2, and 3, bend your knee, put your foot back down, recommit to the bridge and roll down. So let's do that now with feet on the roller. So soles of the feet back on the roller, shoulders are down, neck is long. We lift up our hips. Shift over, lift one leg, extend it up toward the ceiling. And this time, see if we can keep our pelvis level while we reach down and tap the roller with the back of your calf and bring it back up again. And 2, and 3, nicely done. And bend that leg, recommit to the bridge or bottom lift, shift over to the other side, lift up your leg, straighten it, and then bring it down, tap
the roller, pick it up, and tap the roller, and one more. And bend your knee, put your foot back down, and then we'll roll on down. All right, so something nice for a moment. Let's place our right ankle on top of our left thigh and use the roller to bring your leg in a little bit closer. So just like softly roll the roller in and find the figure 4 stretch. We'll just do a few rolls and then hold the in position. We'll hold here for about 20 seconds. Just give ourselves a little bit of love. And when you feel the stretch is complete, we'll just unwind, change legs, figure 4, and then use the roller to create an active stretch in the hip. Roll in and out. And hold the end point when you're ready. And we just count to 20. Sometimes when you're in these stretches, you know, a slight movement, like if you need to shift your hips around and find the place that needs to stretch, it's okay to do that, right? And then we'll unwind. Nicely done. And let's go ahead and bring our knees into our chest. Take your legs around in circles, one direction, then the other. Good. And then we'll go ahead and release our feet back down to the floor. So now let's take one leg and reach it up toward the sky and hold onto the back of your thigh with both hands. Bring your knee into your chest, stretch your leg up toward the ceiling and press it into your hands 3 times. Pull it in, press your foot up toward the sky, and pull it in and press your foot up toward the sky. Beautiful. Let's change legs. Knee comes in, press your leg into your hands, and bring it in and press. Just keep breathing. Bring it in and press. Beautiful job. Go back to the first leg, bring it up toward the sky, widen your elbows, take your other leg and extend it out long into the room. If you don't have bone density loss, you can come up, head, neck, and shoulders. If you do, your head stays down. And switch the leg we're holding and pulse, pulse. So you'll feel as you continue moving with your breath and changing your hand hold on your legs as we do our single long leg stretch, the back of your thigh kind of touches down on the roller. And that's a nice way to really feel where we are in space, right? So we make sure we're not lowering our leg too much. And it gives us a nice, another point of reference so that we can kind of regulate our range of motion. So we'll do one more on each side, even out our sides, and then bring your knees in. Nicely done. So let's go ahead and place the roller underneath our feet again, pulling shoulders down. Take a breath, and then use your glutes to lift up your hips again. Yeah. And then just keep breathing and roll the roller back and forth under your feet. Okay. All right. And you'll feel a very special area of your hamstrings working again right behind the knee joint. It's a little fun. Yeah. My version of fun is not everybody else's version of fun, I've been told. And one more, and then we'll roll on down. Place the roller underneath your thighs again, above the knee joint, and roll your thighs back and forth. All right. So let's go ahead and have our legs bent with our feet on the floor and the roller underneath the bend of the legs again. Okay. So we're going to use the same idea of the roller being a place of point of reference. Hands are on hips. Take a breath, exhale your right leg up to tabletop. And then inhale, extend it up toward the ceiling. And just lower your leg down. And then take it off to the side in a semicircle and bring it back up again. So we start our single leg circles. And what we're looking for here is a range of motion. The roller is where we touch down. Slide your legs sideways along the roller and then pick it up and circle it around to return. Okay, and we'll just do one more in this direction and just notice, let's go the other direction, touch down, slide it in and come back up again. Notice the work that it takes in your abs to keep your hips from following your leg as you circle it around. And just notice whether your standing leg is splaying off to the side, so we need to use our inner thigh on the standing leg to hold ourselves steady. And last one, hug your knee in, slide your right hand down to the right outer ankle, and then extend your left leg long. You can choose head up or head down, right? And we'll go into our single leg stretch. And switch your hand hold, switch your legs. And we'll keep breathing. Really push-pull the leg in. So we deepen our abdominals here. It's not just a pretty style, right? We're actually functionally using our arms and our leg to create an isometric in our torso and hold ourselves steady on the mat. And one more on each side. Perfect job. And then we'll float our right leg down, extend our left leg up toward the ceiling, hands on hips again. And we'll lower down, touch the roller, slide our leg out to the side and circle it back up. So we did 5 in each direction on the other leg. Make sure that your inner thigh is working to keep the floor leg in place, right? And then we feel the work that has to happen in our abdominals to keep our pelvis stable, our torso from rolling. Good, we'll go the other direction. Keep breathing. Perfect. You just hug your knee in, take your other knee in, hug onto the shins of both knees and make your elbows round. If you don't have bone density loss, you could bring your head, neck, and shoulders up. If you do, or you prefer your head down, keep your head down. We'll push-pull our legs in and do 6, in which we inhale, extend both arms overhead, extend both legs, and then swim your arms around and catch your legs. So the height of your legs in the room has everything to do with how much work there is here, okay? So we need to choose a height where we're able to control our back position on the mat. So just keeping that in mind, if it feels like it's too intense, have your legs extend higher toward the ceiling. If it's not intense enough, you can lower where your legs are. And last one. Perfect job. Now let's keep our knees together and then take your legs around in a big circle, massaging the edges of the sacrum. So you're guiding this with your hands. And that was a double leg stretch, by the way. Let's go the other direction. And hug your knees in. Okay, good. So now we'll go ahead and take our hands behind the base of our skull. Stretch your neck long. Okay, extend both legs up toward the ceiling. And if you've got bone density loss, you're keeping your knuckles on the ground. Okay, and if you do not have that, you can come up into an upper body lift. And we can lower both legs down, keep your legs squeezing together, keep your back on the mat, and bring your legs back up. So let's just do 4 more. Inhale, lower both legs. Exhale, come back up. So we're basing how low the legs go by how much we can control our torso position on the mat. And 1 more. This is our double long leg stretch. And we'll go ahead and let that go. Perfect job. So now let's take a breath and we'll lift up our hips and we're going to roll the roller underneath our sacrum. So we'll just lift up and roll it under. So we want to make sure that it's not underneath our low back. Okay, it's underneath the flat part, right above your tailbone, actually. And if this feels like it's too much pressure on anybody's neck, you can go ahead and, use pillow instead. Okay, now we'll pull our shoulders underneath us and your hands are going on the flat ends of the roller. So we can bring both legs up and keep them bent for a moment. Just make sure you're kind of centered on the roller. And then let's extend both legs up toward the ceiling. And then we'll lower one leg. Okay, find a stretch in the front of your thigh. Then bring that leg up, lower the other leg. Find a stretch in the front of the thigh, bring that leg up, and then start alternating the leg position as they pass each other in the air for a scissors. Okay, so one leg's raising while the other leg's lowering. And it's very controlled, okay? And we're going for a range of motion where we're feeling a stretch in the hamstring on the high leg and the quad on the low leg. And just do a few more. Good. So now let's pause with one leg high, one leg low. The high leg will circle out to the side and the low leg will also circle out to the side, and we're going to switch positions. Right, so it's helicopters. So we'll do a scissor and then a semicircle switch. Okay, and a scissor and a semicircle switch. So this can be a fun exercise that people get tangled up in all the time, okay? So it's two scissors, and then we semicircle the legs to switch their position. And you're doing a great job. And let's just do a couple more switches here. And last one. Great. And we'll go ahead and bend our knees into our chest for a second. So a nice stretch that we can do here is place the soles of your feet together and let your knees come outward. And this would be like a butterfly stretch or a Baddha Konasana from yoga. And you can play with where your thighs are positioned to stretch different parts of your inner thighs. If you don't like the feet together, you can have your feet upward toward the ceiling, and this would be a happy baby, right? So just inner thigh stretching for a moment, and then we'll bring our knees back in. That was fun. And let's straighten both legs up toward the ceiling again. Make sure that your shoulders and your neck are comfortable. Now we'll lower our left leg down, and then when we find the stretch, bend your knee to bring your foot down to the mat to increase the stretch. Then drag your foot in and bring that leg back up. Let's try that on the other side. Lower the right leg down. When you find the stretch in your thigh, bend your knee, keeping your thigh in place, and then drag your leg in, okay? So this is starting off with our bicycles, right? So we're gonna go ahead and just see if we can flow this movement. So as you're bending one knee, the other leg's lowering, right? So we want to start move kind of slow, you know, in this, because what we're really trying to do here is find the stretch, find the length in our legs and increase the length in our legs. It's amazing how stretching through our legs and hips can make such a huge difference in how our back feels. Like that children's song, right? Thigh bone's connected to the hip bone. You know, if you grew up in the United States, you probably heard that song. If you didn't grow up in the United States, you may not be familiar with it. I'll sing it to you another time. Okay, one more on each side. Now, can you go the opposite direction? One leg comes down, bends, comes up. Yeah? Okay. Good. Make sure you're connecting with your mat in the opposite direction. And this one feels like a lot more ab work, doesn't it? So we'll go ahead and finish that direction up. And then let's go ahead and bring our legs up toward the ceiling. Cross one ankle above the opposite side, and then bend your other knee and let your legs float in towards your body. And this is a lovely gravity enhanced figure 4 stretch. So the bent knee leg on top, you'll feel the stretch in the glutes. I'll just take a few breaths here. And we'll unwind and go to the other side. And when we're done stretching there, let's go ahead and unwind our legs, and we can bring our feet down, connect with our abs, lift up enough to get the roller out from underneath, and then just place your feet on the roller again, bring your legs really close together, open your arms out wide, and then take your knees off to one side. So the roller with your feet on the roller, it's giving you a little bit of extra range. If that feels good, yay. If that does not feel good, you're welcome to just come back out of the twist and put your feet on the mat. Just do it. Do it so that it feels like it's a good stretch for you. Take another breath. Exhale, use your abs. Bring yourself back to center, and then off to the other side we go. And keep breathing. And exhale back to center. And let's go ahead and bring our arms next to our sides. Let's take the roller away, and we'll go onto our side. So on our side, we'll be supporting our head on our arm. And we can have our legs extended out long. So they'll be a little bit in front of you. And our side waist is lifted. So shoulders down the back. So we can use spider fingers or a fist in front for support. Bring your top leg up to hip height. Let's make some small circles. So we'll take the leg back, circle it forward. Yeah. And let's just do about 5 in each direction. And we can feel our muscles around our hip working. And that's a good thing. And that's 5. Let's change directions. 2, keep breathing. Perfect job. Let's bend our knees. Good. And we'll just go into some simple clams from a chair position. So let's place our hand on our hips and just lift the knee and lower the knee, keeping our inner line of our feet together. So feel how you kind of have to press into the mat with your bottom leg when you do this. Okay, so the bottom leg is stabilizing. And we begin to feel our glutes working again. And last one. Nicely done. All right then. So let's go ahead and come on up into a side support on our forearm. Pull your shoulders down. Now, if you feel better doing this from your hand, you're welcome to. This is actually going to work the shoulder more than being on the hand. So we do this if we have any wrist issue. Okay. So let's go ahead and just push away from the mat and then lift your side waist, right? And that's prepping for the plank, side plank. If you feel like you need and want more, you can go ahead and lift up from your knees, extending your hips. And if you need more than that, you can go ahead and extend both legs long, okay? This can also be done just from your hand if you wish. If your head needs more support, you go ahead and put your hand on the other side of your head. You can kind of help your head with a little bit of support. And we keep breathing. And we'll go ahead and lower on down. And then let's flip ourselves around to the other side. So we'll be laying down again, head supported on our arm, and side waist is lifted. We'll bring our feet toward the front of the mat so that we're a little bit bent at the hip. Spider fingers or a fist can support us. We'll press down with the bottom leg, lift the top leg up, and we'll do about 5 circles in each direction. And I tend to start with the press back and lift from behind circle, because for me, that's the more difficult or more challenging direction. So I tend to start with my more challenging direction because I just feel like I want to be fresh when I know it's going to be challenging. And let's go ahead and go the other direction. You can start any direction you want when you practice on your own. And last one. Perfect job. We'll go ahead and bend our knees and then hand on hip to make sure the hip is staying stacked and lift the top knee and lower it. So find the energy of pressing down into the mat with your bottom leg as you rotate the top thigh open and keep breathing, lifting your side waist off the mat. Perfect job. Okay. And we'll go ahead then and come up to the forearm or your hand if you prefer. Okay. Lift the side waist, organize your supporting shoulder. And then if you need more, lift up your hip. If you need more, you can extend your legs and moving into our side plank. And we'll just hang out here, pulling our muscles inward and upward. Enjoying the strength that we're building. Keep breathing. And then lowering down carefully. Nicely done. So now let's take this roller again and place it at the head of the mat. So we'll be moving onto our bellies. If being on your stomach is not your happy place, you're welcome to practice this exercise with in a kneeling position as well. So you could be like so if you're not wanting to lay down on your belly, okay? And just do the same relative movements. So if you're laying down on your belly, that's okay with you. Pull navel upward so that you have a nice connected abdominal wall here. And then we'll go ahead and put the roller underneath your forearms, and we'll reach your arms away so that your shoulder blades rise up and your shoulders kind of hide your neck, and then pull your shoulder blades down. So it's almost like you think about my giant tortoise, right? The tortoise is hiding his neck and then he's sticking his neck out. And we're doing that because we're moving our shoulder blades. So we reach and then retract. Elevate and depress. So play with how wide your arms need to be to make this comfortable. They don't have to be straight overhead. You can have them a little wider and see how that feels. Good, last one. And then just bring your arms off the roller, stack your palm, your hands on each other. And you can put your forehead on your hands and just take a moment, take a couple of breaths, wiggle your hips back and forth. Super. So now we're going to do another one, and this will be a swan on the roller. So to do this one, we need to have the roller closer to the elbow joint, but you're still on the forearm. Okay. And take a breath. Exhale, pull your belly in, pull your shoulder blades down. And then this time you'll bend your elbows as you lift your chest and neck and head upward in one piece, and then lower down, keeping your belly pulled in. So your lift is going to be your lift, right? So you may want to lift higher than me or not as much as me, and that's fine. The point is that we're strengthening our ability to open our chest and bring our shoulders down without jamming into our low back, okay? So we're supporting this whole action with our abdominals and breathing. And one more. We'll lower on down. Take the roller away. Stack your hands again and put your forehead on your hands. And take a couple of breaths. Wiggle your hips back and forth. Perfect. So let's go ahead and come up into all fours. And find a comfortable position for your wrists. You can be on fists, flat hands, or forearms if you need to be. Okay. Knees are lined up right below your hips. We'll exhale and gently arch our back toward the sky. And inhale and gently arch our belly toward the mat. So we'll keep moving with our breath here. It's nice to find kind of an organic feeling to this movement where we're not forcing or pushing super hard with our arms and legs to get our spine into a certain position. It's nice too when you're breathing, pay attention to whether you're feeling like there's an area that you might need to move into that might feel like it needs a little bit more release. So you can go sideways, you can kind of rock back a little bit, rock forward a little bit, just kind of experiment with what it is that your body feels like it's calling for right now. So let's do 3 more. Perfect. And we'll come into neutral spine, shoulders down the back, belly pulled in, and hips and shoulders are level. And then let's go ahead and take our right hand off the mat enough that we could just slide a magazine underneath it without unleveling the shoulders. And then you'll notice that your weight kind of shifts into your right hip, okay? So now capitalize on that. Bring your left knee and shin in underneath you. Okay, so those are lifted off the mat just a little bit. So we did this, keeping our shoulders and hips level, and now we're balancing on our left hand and our right knee and shin and top of foot. So if you want to make this more challenging, just lift the right shin and foot, okay? And so we reduce the base of support, and we'll just breathe. And we'll put that hand and knee down, and let's just do some circles around the mat in each direction with your whole body. And come back to all fours. Okay, and then we'll lift our left hand off the mat. Okay, notice how that brings you into your left hip and glute muscles, and then bring the right leg in. Find your balance, and then decide whether you want to lift that left shin and foot or not. One side's different from the other, isn't it? And keep breathing. Perfect. And we'll come back down to the mat. That was nicely done. Let's go ahead and sit down for a moment, take a little bit of a wrist break. So we'll do some wrist rotations. Time to do a little bit of standing work. So we do need to bring our Pilates into standing. So we're going to take our roller with us and stand at the front of the mat. Place the roller on end and place it underneath. So I've got it underneath my left hand, okay? So what I'll do then is shift over to my left. So I'm shifting onto the leg that's next to the roller. Make sure the hips are level, and then lift my right leg. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and hold this knee in position, extend and bend the right leg 10 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but wait, there's more. Now externally rotate the right leg and then extend it straight forward again. So now your toes are pointing out, but the leg is extending right in front of you, not off to the side somewhere, okay? So this will be a different area of muscle in your thigh. So it's your vastus medialis that we're working on right now. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now take your right leg and step it behind you, landing on your toes. Good. So hopefully you start to feel a little stretch in the front of your right thigh. And you can bend your left knee if you need to enhance that thigh stretch. And then we're going to take our roller, pick it up, and place our hands on the wide flat edges. Okay. And then bring it up overhead. Pull your shoulders down. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, center. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, center. Good. Again. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, center. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, center. Good. Let's do that one more time. Feel how the stretch changes as your torso gently side bends. Perfect. Bring the roller down. Let's go ahead and set it on the end. Lean forward slightly to release the stretch and step forward. So we'll go to the other side. The roller changes sides. Shift your weight toward the leg next to the roller. Make sure your hips are level. Pick up your other leg and then extend and bend it 10 times, trying to do your best to keep your knee in the same place and space. And 5. Good. Keep moving with your breath. 8, 9, 10. Good. Now pause there. Externally rotate at the hip joint and then extend your leg straight forward. So your leg is extending in front of you again, but your toes are pointed outward. And 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. And then go ahead and step your leg back. Nice. You feel a stretch. So then we take our roller, pick it up, hold it by the flat ends, bring it overhead, shoulders are down, and we'll inhale, side bend. Exhale, center. Inhale, side bend. Exhale, center. And inhale, side bend. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more on each side. Perfect. Bring your roller down. Lean forward slightly to release the stretch and step forward. That was nicely done. Let's see here. I think we've got time for one more nice standing drill. So standing up at the front of your mat. Roller is in your hands in front of you. You're holding onto the flat ends and shoulders are down. So we'll take a step back with the right leg, land there on our toes. Inhale, rotate to one side. Exhale, center, keeping your front knee over your ankle. Inhale, rotate to the other side. Exhale, center. Now bring the roller in towards your body as you step forward. Good. Press the roller forward as you step back with the other leg. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. And bring your roller towards you as you step forward. So we'll keep alternating legs. Let's do a couple more on each side. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. And rotate. And center. And step forward. Press back. Inhale, rotate. Center. Inhale, rotate. Center. And forward. Last one on each side. Step back. Rotate. Center. And rotate. Center. And forward. And back. And rotate. Center. Rotate. Center. And forward. Beautiful job.
All right, let's take our rollers and go back to our mats now. We're gonna lay down on our rollers. So we're gonna do a lengthwise position. So let's go ahead and come up onto the end of the roller. So you're gonna be very careful here. Use your arms and your abs and just do your best to plank down without rolling. And once you get down, your head and shoulder blade area, in between the shoulder blade and your sacrum are all on the roller. Okay, so arms can stay down for a moment, and we'll just take a breath and then exhale, bring one leg up to tabletop, put it back down on the floor, other leg up, put it down on the floor. So you can start feeling how when you lift a leg, obviously your weight is going to roll toward the other side. Okay, so we need to have that information because then we're going to be working toward reducing evasive support. Okay, so abs are on here. So let's just do a few more marches. Perfect. And then go ahead and bend your elbows and keep your elbows on the mat for the moment and bring one leg up to tabletop. It doesn't matter which one, just pick your favorite. Okay. And then extend that leg up toward the ceiling and just do a few little circles. Okay. So this is just getting more and more fun, isn't it? And then we'll go the other direction, little circles. Good. All right, and then bring that knee down and the leg down, take a breath. Exhale the other leg up to tabletop, extend the leg, and just do 5 little circles in each direction. It's a lot harder on the roller, isn't it? 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Bend your knee, put the foot down. All right, so let's get ourselves organized again in case the circles made your alignment, move a little bit. Keeping your elbows bent and on the mat, exhale one leg up to tabletop. See if it's okay to lift your elbows off the mat. If you feel very unstable here, do keep the left elbow down. So with the left leg lifted, the left elbow would be down. Right arm could reach up toward the ceiling. So you have your options. Elbow down, elbow lifted, both arms lifted. You see, this elbow down is the safest. Then we'll do our opposite arm and leg extension. Okay, so inhale, exhale. Let's breathe and find the work in your core to keep yourself stable. So we're doing 7 of 10 here. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and bring all limbs down. And the leg that was just working, let's go ahead and carefully stretch it out long and just give it a little stretch, keeping your belly pulled in. Let's flex your foot, press your heel into the mat. And then we'll bring both legs back into bend. Organize yourself on your roller again. If you need to, both elbows are bent on the mat. Bring your other leg up to tabletop. Okay. And then decide what you're going to do about your base of support. So safest is to keep the right elbow down and reach the left arm up. Okay. You can also lift your right elbow or you can lift both arms. And then we'll do 10 opposite arm and leg reach. And just keep breathing. And 8, 9, and 10. Nicely done. All limbs come down. So now reorganize yourself on your roller and then bring your legs as close together as you feel comfortable with both feet down. So if your knees are together and your feet are apart, that's kind of not
that's sort of cheating because you're kind of tripoding. So if you are knees together, your heels, your ankles need to be together. So that doesn't feel, doable today. Just have them both apart and parallel. And then we'll take both our arms up toward the ceiling and go ahead and clasp hands. So hold hands with yourself and then take your arms around in a circle, right? Keeping your arms fairly straight, and just feel how when you make the circle of your fists toward the sky, that you're feeling some abdominal work going on just to stabilize. It's kind of a little bit of a stomach massage or a sort of a hula in your belly. Let's go the other direction. This is really fun when we do it with hand weights, right? Three more. Nicely done. Now separate your hands, have them be shoulder width. Bring your arms up overhead to a place that feels good to your shoulder, and then take your arms around in a semicircle back down towards your hips. Arms come up and overhead and circle back down and around. And if you felt like your balance was really doing well today, you could have one leg up in tabletop and bringing your knee in towards your hands. And it would be kind of a modified double leg stretch movement. But I'm not going to do that today because my balance is not going to allow that demonstration to be safe. So, and one more. Perfect job. And then go ahead and take your arms out to the sides and let the backs of your hands drop down onto the mat. Take a few breaths. So with your arms a little bit lower than your chest, I'm hoping that you feel a really nice chest stretch. So your arms can be at different angles to your body. So you can have like an inverted V shape that's a little lower, or you can slide your arms around to the side and just find where you feel like you need to stretch. And you can do little snow angels here. So we'll just take a couple more breaths in the stretch. And then we'll just carefully roll off one side of the roller. Let's bring yourself down to the mat, go onto your back, and just allow yourself to rest for a moment. Take another breath. And then we'll roll to one side and press up. And it's time for our mermaid stretch. So we can do a nice Z sit. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable to your top hip, if you had a hip replacement or something else going on, you can always extend your top leg or your back leg out, okay? Bottom arm is supporting, reach the other arm up, take a breath. With an exhale, come down onto your forearm and just arc your arm overhead and feel a nice stretch in the side body and breathe into that stretch. And then we'll exhale, press the floor away. Let's come up to our balance. Grab onto your other shin, reach your other arm up, and we'll do a counter stretch. And then come back over to balancing, float down gracefully, and come back into the side stretch. So we can stay here in the side stretch if you really like that. If you want to go into rotation, open your heart toward the ceiling, and then exhale, pull your belly in so your rib cage has room to rotate. And we'll end up on our forearms. If you have more flexibility, you can go a little deeper. Just be careful if you have bone density loss in your femoral neck, that you don't want to put too much pressure on the hip, right, our so-called hip. holding yourself up off of your bottom leg if you do have significant bone density loss in your femoral neck is a good idea. Keep breathing. And see if you can separate your teeth and soften your eyes. See if you can just soften your shoulders away from your ears again. Take a couple more breaths here. Then we'll inhale to unwind. Exhale and press back up again. And let's change our legs to the other side. Okay, reach up toward the ceiling for length. And then exhale over. And take a couple of breaths. Finding your side stretch. And then as we exhale, press the floor away. Use some ab to come up to balance. Grab your other shin. Let's do a little counter stretch. And come back to our balance. Gracefully float on down. Find your stretch again. And if you wish to go into rotation, open your heart and then exhale, deep exhale to give ourselves room for the rib cage to rotate. And find a stretch that feels really good. And then think about scanning your body. Feeling where your breath is going. Feeling where you can just let go of any excess tension. Mind, eyes, jaw, shoulders. Just a couple more breaths here. And we'll inhale to unwind. Exhale, come on up. Good. And let's keep our shoulders down and our abs in till I see you again.